So good day everyone, I am Fitzi Alessandra and I'm going to talk all about the lessons that is based on Robert L. Simon's Fair Play, The Ethics of Sports. So in this presentation, it is based on Robert L. Simon's book Fair Play called The Ethics of Sport, which looks at how fairness, respect, and rules are central to be the true meaning of sports. So, according to Simon, um, fair play is not just about following the rules, it's about playing with honesty, treating your opponents with respect, and trying to be your best while helping others to do the same. So, this lesson is based on Robert L. Simon's Fair Play: The Ethics of Sports. According to Simon, fair play is not just about the rules, but also playing with honesty, respect, and integrity. So, he explains that sports are a shared activity where all players agree to follow rules, so the game becomes meaningful. When someone cheats, they don't just break a rule, they damage the game itself. Through fair play, sports help build character, teach moral lessons, and create a respectful and enjoyable experience for everyone. With that in mind, let's move on to the next part of the lesson. So these are the objectives of this presentation. So by the end of this presentation, you will able to understand the meaning of fair play according to Robert L. Simon and explain the moral, ethical values involved in games and sports. The third one is identify the difference between playing by the rules and playing the spirit of the game. Recognize how unfair behavior can harm the true purpose of sports. Appreciate the rule of respect, honesty, and cooperation in meaningful and athletic competition. And the last one is to apply the concept of fair play to real life sports situation and personal experiences. So who is Robert L. Simon? Robert L. Simon is Bartlett Professor of Philosophy of Hamilton College. He is the author with Norman E. Bowie of The Individual and the Political Order and editor of the Blackwell Guide to Social and Political Philosophy. He also serves on the editorial board of the Journal of the Philosophy of Sports. Sports as moral practice. Simon views sport not just a physical activity but as practice with moral values. Sports require mutual respect, fairness, and honest effort from all participants. Robert L. Simon views sports as more than physical activity. He sees them as a moral practice. Sports requires respect, fairness, and honest effort from all players to maintain their true meaning and value. For example, during a volleyball match, a player touches the ball at the net before it goes out, but the referee does not notice. The player raises their hand to admit the touch, giving the point to the opposing team. This shows honesty, respect, and fair play, proving that volleyball is not just about winning but about playing with integrity. So the next one is fair play is more than rule following. Fair play means playing within the rules and respect the spirit of the game. A person can follow the rules but still act unfairly, like for example trash talking, bending rules. True fair play requires sportsmanship, integrity, and respect for opponents. True fair play is about protecting the dignity of the game. Rules are there to keep order, but sportsmanship is there to keep the soul of the competition alive. Without respect for the opponent, a victory feels hollow. Building on our previous discussion about the spirit of the game, this new slide introduces a technical way to categorize rules. Understanding this helps explain why some cheating feels like a minor foul, while other actions make it feel like you aren't even playing the same game anymore. So, this is constitutive rules versus strategic rules. Constitutive rules define the game. For example, using hands in soccer is not allowed. Simon argues that breaking these rules destroys the game itself. Ethical athletes accept these rules voluntarily to make competition meaningful. So these rules define what the game is. If you use your hands in soccer, you aren't playing soccer anymore. You're playing a disorganized version of rugby. So ethical athletes accept these rules voluntarily because they understand that the rules are what make the competition meaningful in the first place. The philosopher Robert L. Simon argues that breaking constitutive rules destroys the game itself. For example, if a marathon runner takes a shortcut and skips 5 miles, did they actually win the marathon, or did they simply stop participating in the marathon entirely? So when we break these core rules, we aren't beating our opponent. We are opting out of the shared agreement that makes the game possible. So when we say strategic rules, athletes often view strategic rules as something they can trade. Like, for example, I will take a foul to stop a breakaway. However, they cannot trade a constitutive rule without ending the game's integrity. So the purpose of strategic rule is to manage play and penalties. Like, for example, a yellow card for tripping or a foul in basketball. So the next one is the mutual understanding for excellence. Simon says competition should be a shared challenge, not just about winning. So fair play competitions allows all athletes to strive for excellence together. Opponents are not enemies. They help bring out the best in each other. So once we agree on the rules, the purpose of the game shifts from defeating an enemy to a shared challenge. So in this view, opponents are not enemies. They are necessary partners who provide the resistance needed to bring out your best. Fair competition is a collaborative effort where everyone strives for excellence at the same time. So winning is the objective, but the value lies in the struggle and the mutual improvement. So think of your toughest rival. How was their skill or fair play actually made you a better athlete or student an easy opponent would have? Next is cheating and gamemanship undermine sport. So cheating, like for example using performance enhancing drugs, breaks the trust in sports. Even legal but sneaky tactics can harm fairness. Simon argues these actions go against the moral purpose of sport. So when athletes prioritize winning over the mutual quest, the moral purpose of sport is undermined. So cheating, high-level violations like using performance-enhancing drugs break the foundational trust required for sport to function. Simon also warns against sneaky tactics or gamemanship, actions that may be technically legal but violate the spirit of fairness. Both cheating and gamemanship go against the ethical core of competition. And the last one is the educational and character building value of sport. When played fairly, sports can teach important life values like honesty, respect, responsibility, and self-control. Simon believes fair play helps athletes grow not just physically but also morally and socially. So when sport is played within these ethical boundaries, it serves as a powerful educational tool. So fair play teaches essential virtues such as honesty, respect, responsibility, and self-control. Simon believes that following these principles helps athletes grow not just physically but also morally and socially. So, focusing on the sports philosophy of L. Simon, it moves from the technical definitions of rules to the broader, more moral and educational impact of fair play. In Fair Play, the Ethics of Sport by Robert L. Simon emphasizes that sports are not only physical activities but also moral practices guided by fairness, respect, and the pursuit of excellence. So, playing fairly teaches honesty, respect, responsibility, and self control. So, fair play helps athletes grow morally and socially, not just physically. Simon's perspective is that true victory comes from competing with honor regardless of the final score. So, in conclusion, fair play is the foundation of meaningful and ethical sports participation. As Robert L. Simons explains, sports are not just about winning, they are about striving for excellence with honesty, respect, and fairness. True athletes embrace the rules, respect their opponents, and compete in a way that honors the game itself. When we understand and apply the values of fair play, we only we not only improve as players but also grow as individuals, whether on the field, court, or in everyday life. Fair play reminds us that how we compete is just as important as the outcome. So, fair play is the foundation of meaningful sports. When we embrace the rules and respect our opponents, we improve as players and grow as individuals.